Most people wait until something's wrong to see a doctor. You are not most people. I'm Kevin White. After more than 20 years as an emergency physician, I realized the best medicine is not waiting for the crash. It's helping people stay on the road. This is The Daily Apple, a podcast about living better, longer. Every episode gives you something you can use this week. A smarter habit, a clearer path, or maybe just a new way to think about your health. Because engaged patients are the best patients, and your best years do not have to be behind you. Let's get into it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Daily Apple. And I'm here with the only, the one and only, the almighty and powerful and kind and generous man, Gary Brooks, visionary pioneer. But we're going to talk about some really cool stuff going on in Oklahoma. And if you've listened to this podcast, you know that we did this last in April, and we kind of alluded to what we're going to talk about today. I think that was episode like 50, I don't know, but it was in April of 15th. I was just looking at it this morning.
Yeah, you were trying to drag it out of me, and I didn't have enough of it in my head yet, so I didn't know what to tell you.
Yeah, you weren't. I was taking and twisting arms because I knew what you were thinking, but it wasn't really
Just an idea
formed
at that
yet.
point.
And now it's coming together. And does it kind of scare you?
It's come together. I won't say it scares me.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a new arena, so if I have a little apprehension, it's because I've entered into an arena other than real estate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, we've got some things to talk about, and people have asked a little bit. There's a lot of buzz going on, even though we haven't really gotten this out there as much as we plan to. But yeah, we're going to talk about the what's going on. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. Are you ready?
Great.
So Gary, you spent 35 years in commercial real estate and led one of Oklahoma's most ambitious development projects. What made you pivot to organizing a health summit?
Yeah, that's the question I get, probably more than anything, other than, would you do First National again?
Mm-hmm.
And I say, yeah, I would. But
Mm-hmm.
so, real estate developer, broker for 35 years, went full-time development in about 2005, so about 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Was an apartment developer, did a couple thousand units, 2,500 units. Walked into First National Center in downtown Oklahoma City, September of 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Career was going fantastic. I had 3 big projects under construction, and I thought, I bet I could do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm the guy in the room who thinks anything's possible.
Mm-hmm.
April of 2022, so 7.5 years later,
Yeah.
I walked out of the building. We opened it April of 22. Incredibly unhealthy. Had heart surgery in 2019. Thought I was having nervous breakdowns a couple of times. The project is the largest redevelopment in Oklahoma State history, so it was really, really challenging. COVID, trying to open a hotel in the middle of COVID. My wife was diagnosed with cancer 4 months after we bought the building, my partner and I.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of health issues. I wake up May of 2022. I'm in the building. I'm 60 years old at the time, and I'm thinking, I'm going to die. Yeah. I'd had a meeting my staff was quizzing me on. I had no memory of. I felt like I was dying and had to make a decision. Get healthy. Didn't know what that meant.
Mm-hmm.
I'd been out of a gym, but hadn't focused on health. I'm like most of my friends. Maybe you go to the doctor once a year, you get some blood work. It says normal. We don't ever ask what normal means.
Yeah.
And we go, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'd had a calcium score scan in 2019, which led to my heart surgery with stents. So building open, I was able to focus, began trying to get healthy, had no clue what that meant. Thought the gym was the answer, built 2 gyms in the building, started working out, decided, that's not the answer. Started getting on podcasts, reading books. Mm-hmm. Peter Attia's book came out about that time. Mm-hmm. Started finding some people that I began to trust. That was the hardest part for the first year, is just who do you trust?
Mm-hmm.
There's so much information out there, and I was buying all of it. By the end of the year, first year I was taking 60 supplements. If somebody said, take this, I'm taking it. I don't ask questions. And you wake up after a year going, okay, this isn't a good plan. So about year 2, really started doing some heavy blood work and found some people I could trust. Started getting healthier. About 2.5 years in, my numbers are really getting good. Found you. We began a relationship, kind of taking me to the next level. And about a year ago, my wife, who's a CFO for one of the largest developers in the state, one of my best friends, a guy named Mark Beffert, she came home and she's like, when are you going back to work? She didn't say it this way, but you've milked this First National thing long enough, big boy. You need to get back to work.
Please.
And I said, I'm not going back to work. And that got a look. And I didn't expect the next thing out of my mouth, but I said to her, I think I know how to keep my friends from dying. I'm tired of going to funerals of people I believe I could have helped. And I don't know that much. I mean, at the time, I probably had 4,000 hours under my belt to study, so I knew a little about a lot. But I just told her, I said, I can't ever wake up to real estate again. I'm doing health and wellness. She goes, what does that mean? I said, I have no idea. I don't know what it means, but I'm tired of not doing anything. And I'm getting healthy. I'm getting healthier by the day. My heart surgeon a year ago said, whatever you're doing, don't come back. Like,
right.
You've more than fixed whatever problems you had. Just keep doing what you're doing and don't come back. So
you, I will say, I've only known you for over a year, but you've got friends who I've spoken to that's like, yeah, we saw him one day and then we saw him at this time period, different guy.
It was dramatic.
Yeah.
I looked like I was going to die in 22. I had friends going, like, are you okay? And I wasn't. Mentally and physically, I was a wreck. And, at some point, you just got to say, I either continue the path I'm on. I know I've destroyed my body. I didn't sleep. My theory on sleep was I'll sleep when I die.
Right.
I'm a business guy.
Yeah.
Who needs sleep? I mean, that's an element of pride to be able to.
Yeah.
I only needed 4 hours last night. I'm good. Had no clue. Bad sleep was literally killing me. I didn't know that. And stress. I had no idea what stress was doing to me until I started wearing a glucose monitor and started seeing what happened to my glucose when I was under stress.
Yeah.
It's like, I've been doing this for 20 years, 30 years.
So you were able to dig in and see the hard data. I
became a data junkie. I mean, I'm buying every wearable they make. I'm tracking data. I'm tracking blood. I'm a numbers guy by trade, and I'm a business guy. So my whole thing is, what are the results?
Yeah.
I want to see results.
Yeah.
And so you got to track data. I remember one time thinking, I've lived my life like a car with no gauges. It starts up in the morning. It sounds okay. It gets me where I want to go and gets me home. What's the problem? I had no clue what was going on. And I thought, if I ran my business this way, I'd be bankrupt in a year.
Yeah.
Why would I not at least give my body as much attention as I gave my business?
Right. Or your car. I told somebody this just today. The car runs great until it doesn't. On this much gas, it does fine. And then you're done. Like, people will say, oh, I'm healthy, I'm okay. And I just had it this morning with a patient going through some stuff. Felt fine, but it was pre-diabetes, all kinds of stuff. ApoB was high, which we'll get into some of that stuff during the conference and with some real specialists, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But you're absolutely right.
Car's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And people kind of relate to it. I did. When it hit my brain, I'm like, gosh, how stupid is this? But this is what we do.
Yeah.
You just kind of accept it. And I'm busy. I'm running a business. I've got family and responsibilities and church and all the stuff. So for some reason, health gets last.
Mm-hmm.
I just decided one day I'm going to make it first,
Yeah.
and everything changed.
So as you said, and I'll get right into this one, people do know you. If they know you a little, they know you as the developer of the National, which is the big old project. Awesome job, by the way.
Thank
really
you.
a staple of the city. You can't experience Christmas without, hanging out at Teller's and taking a picture with every other citizen by that big tree. It's months. It's huge. Anyway, with all that in mind, have you gotten pushback from people wondering what the heck a developer knows about health and wellness? And we might have already covered that, but have you gotten any pushback from that?
Oh yeah, I get pushback. I push back on myself sometimes. Like, what do you know?
Mm-hmm.
Who am I to tell people what they ought to do?
Mm-hmm.
But I've had enough friends, many friends that have come to me and go, "Hey, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
you're not the same person you were 3 or 4 years ago. Tell me what you're doing."
Right.
And that at least opened the door to me to say, I'm not a medical professional, but I know my personal experience. And one of the things I've learned is we're all unique. Everything's unique. We have the best acute care system in the world in this country. And I mean, I'm alive today because people in this city saved my life. I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
My wife's alive today
Right.
because medical people in this city saved her life. She'd be dead. There's no question. So I have tremendous respect for the healthcare profession. My daughter-in-law is a doctor. But I woke up one day and I said, I don't have to go to medical school to become an expert in my personal health.
Mm-hmm.
How do I become a better patient, or what I like to say, a partner for you,
Mm-hmm.
my doctor?
Mm-hmm.
We have the tools and the resources are available now that we didn't have. I mean, you're in the business. I've heard many times there's over 2,000 white papers a day coming out on medical.
Yeah.
You can't keep up with that.
Sure.
My heart surgeon, who's an incredible guy I love, he's seeing 50 patients a day. He's
Right.
doing surgeries dozens a week. How do you keep up with everything that's coming out on LP little a and
Mm-hmm.
ApoB and triglycerides? You can't. It's impossible. So the more I learn, the better patient I become. As a result, I wake up, and what I like to say is experience trumps theology.
Mm-hmm.
I want your theology, but let me tell you what my experience is.
Mm-hmm.
My experience with LP little a is you can reduce this
Yeah.
substantially.
Yeah.
Even though 100 heart surgeons and cardiologists will say you're born with the number and you can't change.
Yeah.
I've heard hundreds of cardiologists and experts say, test it one time, LP little a, you're born with it, can't change it.
Mm-hmm.
I went from 83 to 43, and I'm assuming this blood test that we did Monday, I'm going to be under 40.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know this can be done.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
you can't tell me it can't be. Doesn't make me an expert, but it at least, I think, gives me credibility to stand up and say, let me tell you what I've done. Here's the tools that I've used to become a better patient for my doctor, and ultimately to take responsibility. That's probably what I did. I just woke up and said, I'm responsible for my life,
Mm-hmm.
no one else. I need to build a team of experts, people I know and see, people that I'll never meet.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Sure.
and how do I take that information and take full responsibility for my personal health? People are going to look at me and go, hey, you're not a trained medical personnel. Well, maybe I'm not.
Yeah.
Look at what I've done the last 4 years,
Yeah.
5 years, 6 years, 10 years. I hope that gives me some credibility to at least speak
Yeah.
about being responsible. I'm not ever going to tell someone what kind of doctor or supplement to take. That's not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
What I hope to do is lead by example. I'll be 64 next month. My numbers are better than they've been in decades, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what my biological age. I'm hoping Brian Kennedy and the lineage 2 that is coming in March can help me with this.
Yeah.
But I know I feel fantastic, and
Cool.
I feel healthy. So
All right. So I'm going to pivot a little bit. So we're going to go into Healthy City by 2040. Is that right?
Yeah.
So you and Mayor Holt are unveiling something called Healthy City by 2040 initiative. I kind of understand it, but give us a preview of what that vision looks like from your brain.
Well, it is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. About a year ago, I'm not doing real estate anymore.
Sure.
I'm sitting at my wife's office in the house thinking, what can I do? I spent a lot of time in the homeless world. I'm on a board called Key to Home. I'm chair of that board in 2026. So my brain's already kind of geared toward, hey, I'm in the second half of my life.
Right.
I need to focus more on social stuff, use my influence in a more of a broader network than just trying to go build Gary's real estate portfolio.
Yeah.
And I had this thought about Oklahoma City being unhealthy. And I remember thinking, I don't know if we're that unhealthy. So I just Googled. I said, healthiest cities in America. And the first website that popped up was the Academy of Sports Science, Medicine, something. They do a survey every year of the largest 100 cities. And I'm start at the top and I start scrolling down. And I get to 100 and it's Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I went back 7 years. We're number 100 on that study every year out of 34 metrics. And you can argue whether the metrics are too subjective or objective. Then I went to the next website and the next one and the next one, and pick whichever one you want, whatever study you want. We're either the least healthiest or one of the least healthiest cities. And depending on what study you look at, Oklahoma City is either 49th or 50th in the least healthiest states. As a business guy, it rocked me. I'm like, really? I didn't know we were that bad. I'm a business guy. I've done some pretty big things. I didn't know this. I start calling a few of my friends. I'm asking them, they're going, what are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, how many businesses don't thrive well because of that? How many of my friends are paying health insurance premiums for their employees that are $250 a month higher than they should than other cities and other states? How many companies might not even come here that we don't know about because someone in their firm or their company Googled and found we're the least healthiest city? And it just struck me hard. And I thought, I've got to do something about this. I mean, I'm the crazy guy in the room that has crazy ideas and actually does them.
Right.
So I texted the mayor. I said, hey, I need to come see you. Got an idea. And he said, rightfully so, you're crazy. I mean, I said, yeah, I am, but let's stay on task.
Yeah.
And I said, it's not a 1-year plan. It's a 14-year plan. He said, why 14 years? I said, well, my theory is, a lot of people know about the tipping point, and it takes a long time for whether it's computers on desks or fax machines or cell phones, it takes a long time to reach that kind of that 10% engagement into a city or an arena, and all of a sudden that thing skyrockets.
Right.
So we call it the tipping point. It works in retail, it works in social environments. And I said, if we can get 1% a year engaged, in 10 years, we'll hit the tipping point. So that's how I came up with 2040, kind of rang. I just wasn't willing to accept it anymore. I said, I know my city. I've been here since 1980. We do things no other cities in the country's done. Nobody's done maps. Nobody can do maps.
Yeah, we're quite capable.
No, we're plenty capable.
Yeah.
Why are we accepting this? Why do we accept having the highest heart
Because it's
deaths
just
in
the
the country?
status quo. People are used to that. People are used to, I mean, I can't tell you the number of times people will call in and, oh, my insurance doesn't cover it. Okay, well, never mind. It's just a whole different way of thinking, and you're looking through things through a different lens. And we're planting the seeds to be proactive. And by doing that, you help the city economically. You help people not waste their time in hospital, in in doctor's office waiting rooms when they're 70 something. I mean, think of all that time wasted. So you're giving people back their time. But yeah, it takes somebody crazy enough to think about, let's plant that seed in people's minds on a scale and grow
Almost
it.
everything that we have that's of substance probably started with somebody having an idea, and everyone around said, well, that's nuts.
Yeah.
I've been there. I know what it's like to walk in the mayor's office and the city manager in 2015 and go, I have an idea. I want to buy First National and turn it into this spectacular. Like, you've lost your mind.
Yeah.
How can we help? So, and I'm also not afraid to have people look at me and go, you're crazy. Yeah, that doesn't bother me anymore. At 40, that bothered me. I cared about what people thought about me.
Yeah.
I wanted people to look at me as someone that was capable. At 64, you're like, I don't care what you think. I've got a goal, and there's enough people in this city that I believe are going to get behind this. I believe that. I'm convinced of it. But it won't happen in a year or 2 or 3 or 5.
Right.
To move a city of 1.4 million MSA, and when I say city, I'm talking about the entire metropolitan area. I mean, it's Guthrie to Norman, and I want all of us engaged. That's my goal.
So we've talked about the tough health rankings. And why do you believe we can turn that around, and why start now? Why is the time pretty ripe for this? I've got ideas, but you tell me what you think.
Well, I'm fortunate that I get to spend a lot of time around a lot of big leaders, big people that are running this city. And I get to spend a lot of time with city leaders and government leaders and city council. I mean, I had lunch with the head of the chamber this year. I know a lot of people in the arena, and I look around at these people and I'm like, we're plenty capable.
Yeah.
There was a window of time that First National worked. We hit that window. I think the window for this is now. We've got great leadership at the city. I've got friends that, can argue this person or that person. I just stand back and go, everyone in this town's got a voice, and that's important. Everyone has got to have a voice. I won't go off on those kind of tangents, but maybe I will just for a second. I want people to think of health differently.
Sure.
When I think of health, and when I'm talking about health, it's a lot more than physical health. In fact, I think the biggest problem is mental health. I think you've got to begin with mental health. It just so happens that, as you would obviously know, what goes on in my gut impacts my brain. What is a healthy city? It's more than just a lot of people walking after dinner and running to the park and riding a bike. I want people to think health as my city's healthy because we're not the lowest in education, the highest incarceration rate of women, domestic abuse, poverty. These are all indicators of an unhealthy city,
Right.
Just like our body. And so I look at the entire city and I go, how do you move an entire city toward healthy status? Start with the brain. I got to get the body working, because when my mind and body started coming back, everything else started coming into order. My theory is a healthy city begins with healthy people. I'm a better friend when I'm healthy. I got a lot more energy to give. I'm better as chair of Key to Home when I'm healthy. I got time and energy to give. I'm thinking clearer. But all that gets back to starting with my body. So that's a random trying to answer your question, but it's a massive goal. I get it, but I remember people going, "How did you do First National?" I just walked in and started. One step at a time. I literally take one step at a time because it's too massive. You can't step back and go, hey, let me give you the entire plan.
Right.
It's overwhelming. 1 million square feet, it just overwhelms you.
Mm-hmm.
I walk through it now and I was like, how did we do this? I was like, this is crazy. You just take one step, one person at a time, and eventually you get momentum is the greatest catalyst.
Yeah.
John Maxwell taught us that many years ago.
Yeah. And this what we're talking about coming up in March is a good way to start off that cascade. I like the way you alluded to back in April when we talked on the podcast about how that's going to kick off kind of that cascade of thought and that movement, so to speak. It's an initiative.
I want people thinking about it.
Yeah.
One more minute tomorrow than they did today.
Right.
Because that's all it takes.
And it's going to be fairly simple. It's 2 days. It's some core things, some good quality speakers coming in, which we're going to get into in a second. But to make it simple, like you said, looking at the First National, you can't get the whole plan right there. You've got to start somewhere and then move from there. And in the same way with this, just kind of starting someplace.
For most of us, health and wellness can be overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah. People
Just
come up. Yeah.
as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
Try to start thinking that as a city.
Yeah.
You don't get overwhelmed by it. You say, what do I need to do tomorrow?
Yeah.
And I hope we look back on this in 10 years and go, that was a catalyst.
Mm-hmm.
That was a kickoff moment where some people, most people are going to go, here we go again, talking about health. That's okay.
Uh-huh.
Because they're going to hear about it a lot.
Yeah.
And at some point, they're going to hear about it every day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just we're not going to let it go. And enough people are going to go, maybe I should start thinking about it a little bit. Where do I start?
Mm-hmm.
It's overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
I was overwhelmed the first year. I've tried to sit back and say, and part of my goal at the summit is to give people actionable tools. Don't be overwhelmed by this. Here's the low-hanging fruit. Just start there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about what supplements you need to take.
Right.
Just do one thing first.
Yeah.
Then do one more thing. That's how I began to really. The first year I tried to do everything. We can't do everything, and I hit a wall,
Mm-hmm.
which is what happens. A lot of us go, I'm going to get healthy, and you hit that wall, and it just goes away.
Yeah.
For me, it stuck when I just started saying, hey, I got to make. I remember telling myself, make one more good decision than bad decision today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make some bad choices today. Just make one more good one
Mm-hmm.
than a bad one. And the next day, and the next week, and the next month, next thing you know,
Yeah.
I'm seeing some benefits. And, my wife and other people started going, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, okay, that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
I mean, the mirror is a bad long-term coach. The mirror's great for about a month, but at some point the mirror doesn't help you.
Yeah.
It's got to be more.
Yeah.
I remember telling someone, I get quizzed on this a lot, going, how did you do it? At your age, how did you flip that switch?
Mm-hmm.
I never thought about it till my friend said, what was the switch you flipped? I'm like, I don't know. Let me think about it. And it hit me that at some point in my journey, and I don't remember exactly when, I flipped two switches. One switch I flipped was that my best days are still ahead of me. I made that conscious decision.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't want First National to be my legacy. At my funeral, I want people to go, didn't you do a building downtown? I mean,
that's an afterthought.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Is to go, man, I think you may have done like real estate back in the day.
Yeah.
To me, that would be a successful life.
Mm-hmm.
And the second, and I didn't intend on doing either one of these. This
Mm-hmm.
just kind of happened. I remember thinking, if I make good decisions, I bet I could live healthy to 95, maybe 100.
Sure.
Now, before I started getting healthy, I'd have gone, who wants to live to be 100?
Right.
You're kidding me.
Right.
Because my vision was at about 80, 85, it gets bad. And then it's just 10 years of bad, long, slow downhill.
Yeah.
And Peter Attia, said, it doesn't have to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
That last decade, if you do things right, you're going, and it drops off fast.
Yeah.
I went, that's the life I want.
Yeah. Live long, die fast.
And I flipped those two switches. My best days are ahead of me, and when I made the decision, I'm going to live healthy to 95, it changes what I do today. It has to.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I mean, let's talk about some of the speakers we brought in. This is exciting.
Yeah.
I remember when you brought this up, I remember saying, we don't want speakers. We want them from elsewhere. We want them from, let's go deep. Let's go.
Well, it's the old, Bible adage, the prophet in his own town never gets taken seriously.
Yeah.
And that's true. I mean,
Yeah.
I could tell my kids something, listen, but if you, a stranger, tell them, now it has credibility. So that was kind of the goal. I heard you when you said that.
Yeah. So you brought in Dr. Matt Chamberlain, Dr. Brian Kennedy, who's come from Singapore. These are all experts. This is Dr. Alan Richardson and Dr. Ben Miller, all research scientists, not practicing physicians. So why is it important to you to feature people actually doing the actual longevity research rather than just clinicians?
Yeah, I got to tell the story first, which I know you've heard.
Yeah.
But I knew that the conference needed to happen when some things started happening that were out of my control. I've had friends say, "You're the luckiest person I know." I go, things just happen, and so I gauged by that. So Dr. Matt Chamberlain was a person, Optispan. He's one of the 15 or 20 that I had identified as people I could trust.
Sure.
Never thought I would ever meet him. I mean, he's just one of my heroes out there that's preaching stuff. He's a laboratory scientist. He's just, in your face, factual, and I liked him.
Yeah.
And one day I'm watching his podcast, which I had been watching for 2 or 3 years. I don't know. And he starts talking about his personal physician in Edmond, Oklahoma, Kevin White. I'm like, you're kidding me.
Yeah.
Like, what? I texted you.
Yeah.
I'm like, Dr. Matt Gabriel? He said, yeah, I'm his personal physician.
Yeah.
What are the odds of that? So you connected us.
And he gave permission to state that I was his physician. So anyway, we're saying.
Okay. Yeah, I forget. You have a lot of rules I don't have.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I share everything. You want to see my blood work? Here you go.
We should do that next podcast, man.
I'm ready. I'd love to do that. So Matt and his wife came to town. I was able to host them at the National. And I mean, he was just so generous with his time. And I mean, I got a hero in front of me. So you're like asking him questions, and the three of us worked out together. And I'm like, God, he's really strong. He's stronger than he looks on podcasts. And we're either at dinner at Stock and Bond, I don't remember, but at one point he's like, Gary, how can I help you? You've clearly got some vision for your city. And I hadn't really thought of anything. And I said, God, you speak all over the country. Be fun to do a conference, but I'd need someone like you. And I don't even think I finished the sentence. And he said, yeah, I'll come speak. I'm like, you're kidding me. About 3 weeks later, I'm watching Peter Attia rolls out, who's obviously many of our heroes, rolls out a new podcast. He's got Dr. Brian Kennedy on from Singapore. Well, I've been following Dr. Kennedy for 3 or 4 years.
Right.
And he starts talking about his friend, Matt Chamberlain. And I'm like, this is crazy. So I text Matt. I go, Brian Kennedy? Yeah, he's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
You want me to see if he'll come speak at your podcast? I mean, it's you want me to see if he'll come speak at your conference? I'm like, no chance this will happen. Next morning, I wake up to a text from Matt. He said, hey, Brian said he'll come in and he and I will come speak at your conference. I don't even have a conference yet, but with Matt and Brian, I now have a conference.
Yeah.
The Oakland Medical Research Foundation, Dr. Ryerton's team over there, I've been amazing. You had told me about Dr. Benjamin Miller.
Yeah.
Probably the first time we met.
Yeah.
And so I reached out to OMRF, and next thing you know, I'm getting a tour, and like, boy, if I could get Ben Miller thrown in here as a speaker, and then they brought up Dr. Arlen Richardson. Well, I didn't know Mr. Richardson. So I texted Matt. I said, hey, you know Dr. Arlen Richardson? He said, yeah, Gary, he's basically the father of longevity. I said, well, he's willing to speak at this conference that we haven't put together yet.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I've got 4 of the leading scientists around longevity and this research who have all said, hey, we'll speak. I don't have a conference yet, but I'm about to. I built it not exclusively with laboratory scientists, but I wanted to anchor it there. It's real important to me. Look, health and wellness, as you well know, you can get out into as far as you want.
Right.
What do you want to talk about?
Right. There's some fringy stuff out there.
There's a lot of fringe stuff.
That gives it a bad name, but yeah.
And a lot of it, you know, some of that stuff I'm trying and having some fun with, but it's not, as I think Matt would say, it's not proven yet with humans. And so I wanted to be real careful. I built what I call curbs. I wanted to stay inside those curbs. I wanted, especially this first year, to be really credible and say, look, we're not trying to get you to be doing cryo or anything else. Nothing wrong with that. I love cold treatment. But that's not what we're about. We just want to give you confidence and tools to begin to understand the basics of movement and nutrition and stress management and sleep and why these things are important. And as we'll get into, you know, just how is your world set up in terms of your environment and relationships? So that's how it all came about. I looked up and I had 4 names that most people probably wouldn't recognize, but certainly I looked at this and I'm going, these are some of the most credible people in this arena in the world coming to Oklahoma City. Yeah. So that's how it all happened.
Yeah, these guys go speak all over the world. I mean, Matt's all over the place. One day he's in like
a month in Europe, I think, speaking.
That's great. Yeah, so we're very fortunate.
We are incredibly blessed, and I'm just honored that these folks would come in. You know, and I particularly I've developed this around, again, my personal experience. Everyone who's going to talk are people that are friends of mine or that I followed or that I know about. One particular topic that I really wanted, it was just this hormones. Women's hormones. I was just so passionate about this because I had read Dr. Marty Macary's book about 3 years ago before he became FDA chair. And in one of his chapters, he just unveiled this 2002 women's health study was, I can say it because I'm not in the medical field, it was fraudulent. I mean, this was wrong. And
the Women's Health Initiative.
The Women's Health Initiative. And 95% of female doctors said, hey, we're not going to do female hormones because they'll give you breast cancer. And it's been debunked completely. I just felt like that's a topic that we have an ability to be a voice on that I wanted to push. So I called you. I said, hey, we need to find an expert in this arena. And, you know, Dr. Tara Scott's like, yeah, I'll come in.
So Dr. Tara Scott is just a great human, great speaker. She's going to be a great asset to this lineup. So
she's the one I don't have a relationship with, and I don't have a relationship with female hormones. My wife does, and we've had incredible success with that. But it was just a topic that I felt like I wanted to make sure we had a voice there.
And then we've got, of course, Dr. Jared Spencer talking about mental health. He works with, performance athletes, works with the Olympic team. He's worked with, corporations and stuff. So he's all over the place. So he's going to be a good asset to this lineup too.
We hit mental health pretty hard in the conference. I've begun to realize just how important it is.
So I'm going to switch. We're going to get into the cardiac stuff here, and another one of the speakers we've got coming in. like you said, you had heart surgery in 2019.
Yeah.
And so heart is clearly personal for you. And I feel like you can't talk about longevity without talking about the number one killer of men and women, right? So why did you choose Dr. John Osborne and Clearly's AI-driven imaging approach for the cardiology session?
Both my parents had really bad heart. My mother died in the heart hospital in 2018 of a heart surgery she never recovered from. Doctors did everything they could. My mother loved Dr. Pepper, and she was a great cook and baker, and wondered why you would do anything to make you sweat. So my mother was not, that was, and took a lot of medications for problems. Not understanding. We weren't taught. Certainly her generation, they grew up believing Cheerios was heart healthy. Yeah, not true. I may get sued for that, but Cheerios are not heart healthy. But we bought this. We bought these lies that just got poured on us for decades. So I just assumed, because it's hereditary, right? I'm gonna have heart issues, and now all of a sudden I got heart surgery. Sure, it's all hereditary, and nothing I can do about it. Come to find out, there is something I can do about it.
Yeah.
So I start studying heart hard. And it took a long time because the terminology, it's a very complicated topic, of course. But I had a Lp(a) marker that basically, if you're over 50 in this one marker, you're almost, the way some cardiologists talk, you're going to have a heart attack. It's almost guaranteed you're going to have heart problems. You and I were talking maybe 6 months ago about Clearly, which is this company that uses AI and CT angiogram, which, I've had those. And I started studying it and just got fascinated with it. I'm an AI junkie. I use it a lot in my healthcare, and I just thought, I want to see what this is. I need to experience this. Part of earlier you talked about, how do you get credible, Gary? You're a real estate guy. Well, I do it. I have 9 wearables. I do 15 vials of blood.
Sure.
I track data. I drive to Texas to get an CT angiogram using AI. I need to experience this, so if people go, how do you know? I've done it. Let me show you the difference. And it shocked me what they were able to see. You and Matt did it. I went down and did it at the same place. Build a 3D dimension of my heart, every artery, color-coded, showing me hard and soft plaque. My friend goes, what does it matter? I go, well, the soft plaque will kill you.
Yeah.
You don't like hard plaque, but it's calcified.
Right.
If you don't go down this route, all you know is you got a calcium score, in my case, of 748. We don't know if that's hard, how much of that's hard, how much of that's soft, how much of that's dangerous, how much of it's not dangerous. And so as I started probing these areas, my personal experience is I can change numbers, biomarkers in my body that cardiologists said couldn't change. So that's the first thing I wake up and I go, maybe not everyone knows everything. That's interesting. And I kind of moved into this arena after a while going, can you forget everything you've learned? Because what I discovered, most of my opinions were not based on fact about most things. I've learned that at my age, which is a fun realization, but hard. Why do you think that? Well, I'm not really sure. I believe it. Why do you believe that? I've had friends say to me, well, Brooks, it's hereditary. What's going to happen to me? And I go, it's not hereditary. It's just not. DNA is important. 5 to 20%, depending on your expert, will tell you your DNA is going to impact some things. ApoE, we don't need to go into that, but it's important. You need to know what your genes tell you. But I know that I can modify most of the things that are happening in my body. Yeah. I know that.
How you activate those genes or turn them off or on.
And we're living at a time when these things are coming at us faster than they've ever come.
Yeah.
when DeepMind figured out how to fold proteins, everything changed, because now these experts and these laboratory people are going to discover ways to, I call it repairing the CD. My CD's gotten scratched. I've had so much sun. I get, skin cancer, and my proteins have folded improperly. Someday you're going to wake up and they're going to be able to fix that. They're going to be able to take your CD back to brand new. I don't believe Brian Johnson's going to live forever.
I agree with you.
I'm not naming people, but I don't want to live forever.
Yeah.
I just want to live as long as I can, well and healthy.
Yeah. So we may have already covered this, but the summit covers longevity science, hormones, mental performance, gut health, movement, AI and medicine, which we'll get into more. Quite a range. How did you land on these specific topics? I think they're appropriate, and how did you match them with the right speakers?
For the 2027 summit,
yeah,
I'll get real smart people like you in a room, and we'll build the schedule.
Yeah.
For this one, it was basically Gary sitting in a chair going, "What have I learned? What have I used? What's my experience? And how have those tools helped me?" That's all I really had. So that's kind of how it started for me, is to sit down and go, I know that the basics of sleep and nutrition, and how do you manage stress, and how do I move? Why is protein important, especially as we age? Why do I need to get both aerobic and non-aerobic? Why are all these things important?
Right.
I didn't know this before. I would have, if you'd have told me, "Hey, Gary, I run 5 miles a day. I know I'm healthy because I'm a big runner." If you haven't checked your numbers, you don't know if you're healthy or not.
No, you don't.
I'm going to funerals of my friends in their 50s who thought they were healthy and just didn't know. So I simply look for topics. Every single one of these are topics that I personally experienced, with the exception of Dr. Tara Scott, and I've experienced with my wife, who's been on hormones for 20 years.
Yeah.
So I've touched all of these. That's basically how the agenda got put together. And then you and I having some conversations, and hey, how to fill in some gaps. And then the Jeremy Kubicek piece, which we'll get to in a minute.
Right now we're so I know you're bringing in Jeremy Kubicek as a keynote. And most people know him from Giant and his leadership work and best-selling books. How does Jeremy's expertise fit into the health and wellness world?
Yeah, if I would have told him a year ago he's going to be speaking at a health conference, I'm not sure he would have believed me. But I've been through Jeremy's 5 Voices, which is a bestseller a lot of people are familiar with. He also wrote a book before that called The Peace Index. And the Peace Index basically says, hey, we've all got 5 areas of our life. It's purpose and provision. What are the resources we have? Relationships, personal, physical, our environment. And Jeremy talks a lot about getting at peace with yourself and how important it is to lead yourself. So that's his expertise, and that's what he teaches us. I began to ask the question, how come it's hard to stay motivated?
Right.
I was seeing success, and I was still having trouble staying motivated. So I started digging into this really hard. Peter Attia and others talk a lot about stress management. Okay, that's important. And the last chapter of Peter's book, he talks a lot about relationships and how he didn't say it this way, but his world was kind of had some chaos in it. Work's great, physical's great, but I got other pieces of my world. And so he's really transparent with that. Matt talks about it. I've heard Brian talk about it. A lot of people, Andrew Huberman, a lot of people talk about this, but nobody was explaining why. So I went to Jeremy about a year ago, and we've been friends 25 years. I said, you may have some pieces of the puzzle that fit in with the physical, He's like, what do you mean? So we start diving into this, and I'll fast forward about a year. Stress is a physiological problem. When I'm in stress and I think fight or flight, an animal's chasing me, my body is immediately going to release cortisol, throw me into fight or flight mode, which it needs to. And the hope is that only lasts for about 15 minutes. When my body kicks in cortisol, all the other systems of my body start shutting down. Immune function, muscle building. So what happens if my body's in stress a lot?
Right.
I was given a speech a couple years ago to about 300 people on a topic I was very comfortable with. They want to know about First National Development. I knew a lot of the people in the audience. I know it was weird, but I had no nerves. I mean, I felt, I don't even think my heart rate increased. I felt extremely comfortable with these people in this environment on this topic.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have breakfast that morning. I remember I wasn't intermittent fasting, but for some reason I didn't eat breakfast, and it was a lunchtime speech. So I didn't eat lunch because I'm getting ready and I'm on stage. My glucose was around 85. I wear a glucose monitor because people go, do you have diabetes? I said, no, I just don't ever want to get it. So I watch that closely as one of my wearables. When I get off stage from this speech, was again, extremely comfortable. My glucose was 155.
Sure.
And you know it. I didn't understand it. I'm like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
My body literally is releasing insulin to try to cover something that I didn't eat anything. I didn't drink anything. And I began to put in all these pieces together going, I think stress is the biggest killer we've got.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps me, I don't sleep good when I'm under stress. I'm not eating well because I'm snacking at night because I'm stressed. I can't work out well. If I am in the gym, I'm probably thinking about all the stuff I'm under stress.
Yeah.
And so I started putting all this together, and I said, Jeremy, I think you may have a piece of the puzzle. He's like, I'm not a medical guy. I go, you don't need to be. We've got to help people get their environment right first.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to go in the gym if I've got chaos happening in my world and my body's under stress 15 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is the biggest problem that a lot of people face. We just don't know it. And that constant stress is shutting down the other systems of the body. As you would know, it's driving up inflammation, which causes almost everything we've got.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jeremy and I really began diving into this to go, in a perfect world, how do we teach someone? It's personalized for you. How do you analyze your 5 areas of your environment and begin to identify where there's some stress that maybe you know, maybe you don't know.
Maybe you don't.
I didn't know my body was under stress when I'm giving that speech.
Right.
I have no knowledge of this, yet my body's still reacting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just said, Jeremy, you're an important piece of this. We've got to bring this element in because he's able to take 25 years of this kind of research and apply it to the physical side. I think that we're going to roll out something here that I don't think most people have thought about at this level.
Yeah, and you talked a lot about, and I don't know if we talked about this during the last podcast in April, but or maybe it's just you and I talking about it, but how what you just said, all those different areas make you, why do you do certain things? What can you plug in there to make you more successful? I mean, the stress thing is a very important point, and cortisol has a tremendous impact on, longevity. They're calling it inflammaging now and all that stuff we can get into another time. But it helps people analyze different areas of life and say, okay, this is the best way for me to think about, exercise or eating, or it helps you really understand yourself in a deeper way.
Yeah, that's the second piece of it. It's the 5 voices, basically taking your personality. I work out different than Jeremy, for example. my personality is such that I kind of like doing my own thing. I've got a trainer a couple times a week, but I like to do my own thing. Jeremy likes to do stuff in a group, which is the norm. I'm the exception. Most people operate much better in an environment of support, where that's why spin groups are so popular.
Yeah.
I've never been to a spin class. I got a Peloton in my house. I don't need a spin class.
Yeah.
I'm good doing it myself or with my wife on her Peloton. But everybody's got a different personality. How do we help people identify what's the best system you can build based on your personality and your environment to give you the best leveled, how would I say it? To give you the best chance of succeeding. That's the goal. 95% of us hit a wall, and a lot of us never get through that wall. So it has become my core belief that before I ever send somebody in a gym, before we ever tell them what diet how to take, it's personal. I don't know what the best diet for you. Pick the one you like that works for you and your personality. Let us help you build a personalized health and wellness program based on who you are, what your experiences are. You may have to deal with some stuff in your past. I'm not a psychologist, but I do understand now that stress, whether it's 1 minute old or 15 years old, is impacting your health. We know this.
So you've mentioned before, peace before performance. Is that kind of what that means? What
it's kind of the tagline that Jeremy he's using right now. And this is evolving quickly. I mean, he's working on this almost full time right now because I've told him this is significant. That's why I've put him as a keynote. We've got to roll this information out. And basically the idea is you're not going to ever perform well if you don't have peace in your world. Understand, not everybody's world is designed for maximum peace. But how do we help you and give you the tools to begin to identify sources that maybe you're not even aware of that are causing some issues, and then give you the tools to try to calm that down?
Okay, well, back to the conference a little bit. There are a lot of health conferences today that are heavy on theory. So what do you want them to walk away come Wednesday? The conference is a Monday, Tuesday, 9th and 10th of March. What do you expect them walking out of there Tuesday evening, Wednesday morning?
I want people to feel more empowered to take responsibility, which is, I got to feel empowered before I'll step into that role. Help people begin to understand the world of health. You could call it the world of sickness. Is doing what it's designed to do. It's designed primarily. I realize I'm talking to a trained physician. From my view, the world of health is primarily designed to try to keep people alive. It's not designed to try to make us healthy long term. I think you need both. You're going to need a lot of people that are really good if you're sick. And we're the best in the world at that. I think we're number 47 in the world as far as longevity. That doesn't make any sense. These are not the same. I didn't change in a way that stuck with me until I accepted responsibility. And I didn't accept responsibility until I felt empowered, which means I had some tools that I know worked. And that's what I want to be able to give people, is maybe some knowledge they hadn't heard before. Maybe some tools that we can give them that they haven't heard before. It took me a couple of years to develop the tools, and every day of trying to find information to try to figure out, how do I weed through the noise? how do I know who to believe? I'm not going to tell people who to follow, but I want people to walk out with, I got 5 tools now that I can utilize to try to figure out who can I trust online. How do I build my own healthcare orchestra? That's the terminology I want to use. And people are going to hear this and go, what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it means I'm the conductor of my own orchestra, not you, not my doctor.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. I got to build my own orchestra of experts. How do I, who should those experts be? You got to build your own orchestra. You can't play to my music. I can tell you how I arrived at the ones I follow. Most people I have found had hundreds of conversations in the last 3 or 4 years on this. Most people at some point go, I don't know who to believe. There's too much information. I don't know who to believe. Yeah. And that point, it kind of releases them to go, I'm not doing anything. I just know who to follow. Mm-hmm. You can't do that. That's a cop out. Let's not do that. Mm-hmm. Let me give you 5 things that you could do where you can at least go, okay, maybe I can use these tools quickly to begin to identify who should I follow, who should I trust. If I come across a podcast that says everything you need to know about protein, skip it. Like, don't follow that person. Mm-hmm. That's called clickbait. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows everything there is to know about protein. So there may be good information on there. I followed a guy who's very famous early on, and he was super smart. Next thing you know, he's trying to pitch a $200,000 red light bed, and he wears a weighted vest when he does podcasts on it. Just because he's trying to sell something doesn't necessarily mean I shouldn't listen.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
We expect these people like you and others doing podcasts to give us information for free. Mm-hmm. That's what we expect. Well, if you're going to expect it for free, then don't be offended if they're being sponsored by somebody. But at least now you can raise a red flag going, hey, I pay attention to that. I follow Peter Attia because Peter says, hey, you go on my website, these are the people I've invested in. Mm-hmm. Extremely transparent. And he's not pitching anything on his web when he's doing his podcasts. Nothing wrong with, I follow people that have sponsors.
Right.
But I've learned some of them, they got to make money. They have a right to make money. And if I'm following them, I'm getting great information for free. They got to make it from somewhere. Mm-hmm. But at least it alerts me to say, okay, I want to make sure that I'm not being pushed in a certain direction, for a certain reason. So that's one.
Yeah.
I want people to have tools that they feel empowered to use. What I call low-hanging fruit. A lot of this stuff to me was just some low-hanging fruit that nobody had ever told me.
Yeah.
Stop eating and drinking after 7 o'clock, Gary.
You said before, so much information, people don't know where to start. They just don't do anything. And there's some people who are, patients of ours in the practice, they come in, they just need some direction and guidance. I do like this conference, and you've kept it simple and to the point and just confined in 2 days, because you confuse, you lose. But they're really core principles. If you want to understand the field of longevity, you really get everything you need here, because it's a nice core. I mean, like Peter says, majoring in the majors, the stuff that really matters to move the needle for optimizing health span, period.
Yeah. Peter also says, don't talk about supplements if you're not ever working out. Yeah. Somebody come to me and say, how much vitamin D should I be taking? Well, what else are you doing? What else are you prioritizing? Yeah. I'm not sure I'd worry about some of these other things that are important. Mm-hmm. I've tried to keep it as simple as possible, so people don't walk out going, okay, I just got a whole lot of more information that I don't understand.
And I'm confused. Yeah.
I'm confused. Yeah. That's not going to help.
Mm-hmm. So you're partnering with Mayor Holt and local health officials. And how does this summit connect to what the city is already doing and what it should be doing?
There's a lot of people in our city and state that are, obviously doing things to try to promote health.
Mm-hmm.
TSET, there, Oklahoma State Department of Health, Oklahoma County. There's a lot of people out there. I was bold enough to think one day, as a business person, I sit back and I say, what are the results? If we're the least healthiest, are we doing everything we can do? Or is there a piece, maybe there's something missing? I don't know. I'm an orchestra conductor. I try to sit back and look at all of the instruments that are playing and say, are they playing individual tunes? Or is there a way to catalyze everybody singing from the same sheet of music? I'm not sure I like that analogy because there's a lot of people who have been working on this for decades. Mm-hmm. And when you step into an arena where people have been in their entire life, you got to be real sensitive to this. Mm-hmm. I know when the mayor asked me to serve on this Key to Home board for homelessness, I had to first step back and go, hey, I'm a student. I need to learn, because there are people who spend every day of their life for decades trying to solve this problem. Mm-hmm. You got to be extremely respectful and honoring of that. But at the same time, I'm also a business guy to say, what are the results? Mm-hmm. Are we getting the results we want? Sometimes the best person in the room is somebody who doesn't have the experience.
Right.
Because they're not afraid to go, why don't we do that? Well, it's how we've always done it.
Right.
Maybe we should do it different. Maybe. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Maybe we ought to look at doing something different. Maybe we ought to try something we haven't tried before. If I walk into a business that's been working for 30 years and hasn't made progress toward the goal, or the goal's gotten farther, mm-hmm. we've gotten less healthy, I may step back to that business and say, I don't think I can tweak you anymore. Mm-hmm. Well, Gary, we're working very hard. We got great people working really hard. I'm not questioning that. Mm-hmm. I just need another result. And the goalposts seem to be getting farther away. Your ball's going backwards. At some point, my belief is somebody needs to step in an arena, no matter what it is. Could have been my business. Hey, Gary, you're not running your business right. Let me step in and, I'm working hard. Doesn't matter. I need to see results. So my hope is that there's enough people in this city that are actively engaged and committed to health. My hope is that I can bring all that individual momentum into one big group over time and use that momentum to push the entire city forward. Mm-hmm. Don't know if that's a good way to say that, but hopefully it makes some sense.
Yeah, I think so. I'll just take a moment and say that I've had friends, close friends and we may cut this out, and I may have told you this before, so if I haven't, just shut me up. But I've had friends go into places who were developers, not many. I mean, one I'm thinking about in particular, and you, of course, and he said, oh, you need to buy this. This is going to be this and this and this, and this is my vision for this. And I look at it and think, okay, I don't really see it, but I can kind of see it, but not really. But they have that vision in their mind. And sure enough, every time it happens, I mean, I'm like, dang it, I should have been part of that. That's awesome. So I'm really, and that's the way you think too. I mean, you have a vision, you see it in your mind's eye, and you make it come about. And I'm really excited about this whole thing. This is just kind of taking that and bringing it into this.
We all have gifts. I walked in First National. Mm-hmm. It's collapsing. I mean, this thing is considered impossible.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Yeah.
I mean, in my mind, I knew what it could become. I walk in there at Christmas time. There's 1,000 people. I'm like, yeah. They're like, you saw this? Mm-hmm. It's actually better than I saw it, but it took 1,000 people.
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I just saw a vision
Mhm.
and actually said, hey, I think we can do this.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, that's nuts. Well, okay. And for 3 or 4 years, I'm like, we're going to do this. And most of the people, even my friends, are like, yeah, he means well, but at some point he's going to collapse. Like,
Yeah.
this thing is not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's like 6 months before we open, people are going, I think this is real. Like, this is happening.
Yeah.
I'm just a guy. I can't play any instruments. I don't know. I don't know how to do all that stuff. But sometimes it takes someone with a vision to go.
Yeah.
I mean, Mayor Ron Nork
Mhm.
sat in a hotel room in Indianapolis, I believe, and crafted maps
Mhm.
and came back. I'm paraphrasing from a story he told me
Mhm.
10 years ago, because I asked him what happened. And he tells me, he's like, it's one guy with an idea, and he comes back and he gets the people in the room going, I have an idea.
Mhm.
Penny sales tax, and I'm sure people were like, you're kidding me, right?
Mhm.
Like, I don't see it. But he did. And he got enough people to go, okay, maybe.
Mhm.
4 maps later, half the cities in this country have come to the city and go, how'd you do it? We want to do it. Nobody's done it since.
Hmm.
I mean, it's a great example of someone going, this needs to change.
Mhm.
This path we're on is not good. And we've got great people. I mean, that's what Mayor Nork thought. I got great people.
Mhm.
I don't need new people.
Mhm.
I just need to get a vision that they believe's possible. And here we are. I mean, you got the thunder because one guy sat in a hotel room with an idea and pitched it, and enough people were able to go, I think you're out of your mind, but okay. He had credibility.
Yeah.
And people moved because he was credible.
Right.
At some point, it's not him anymore.
Mhm.
And, I know Ron, he's just one of the greatest leaders of our city's history. And I can see him kind of standing back going, okay, now you get it.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, here we go.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of watching going, this is what I saw.
Yeah.
I knew it could happen. So I'm not relating me to Ron Nork, trust me, or this vision to that.
Right.
But it's the best analogy I can use for people in Oklahoma City to say, yeah, Brooks, you're nuts. Yeah. But.
Well, yeah, but.
It sounds a little arrogant, but I remember telling people, you don't have to get on board. You can watch from the sidelines. But let me tell you, I'm happy for you to watch, but let me tell you what we're going to do.
Yeah.
This is going to happen.
Yeah. The time is right. I bet there's so much buzz whenever I talk about this. The interest is brewing. So anyway.
Let me interject, because this is important.
Yeah.
I'm well aware there are a lot of people in our city who don't want to get healthy. I mean, this is a hard fact. Not everyone loves their life. I told the mayor, I said, Mayor Holt, we won't be successful until everyone has an opportunity. He's like, what do you mean? I said, if half the city gets healthy, we failed. And I'm not naive to think that every single person in Oklahoma City is going to be healthy. I don't necessarily. I think it's possible, but I'm the guy who thinks anything's possible. But I want everyone to have an opportunity to engage. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Which is going to mean bringing Dr. Chan Hellman in from Norman to talk about hope. That's part of this. Getting people to begin to understand, why do I even want to get healthy? I don't like my life. Why do I want to live longer? I've had a couple of friends look at me, and that's basically what they're saying. And it hurts me. It's like, okay, that's a health issue. That's a healthy city issue. This isn't just about getting people in a gym or getting them to walk after dinner. It's not. This is much bigger in my mind than what diet you pick. It's just,
Right.
it's a much bigger issue. And that's why tens of thousands of people are going to have to be involved.
Mm. Yeah, it's a huge undertaking.
We don't like to talk about that part of it,
Yeah.
but it's real. I mean,
Yeah.
I live in the world of homelessness now,
Mm-hmm.
20 hours a week, and I see this. These are part of our people.
Mm-hmm.
You got to deal with that too. That's a health issue.
Yeah. Let's divert just a little bit on your project with, I don't know where that's at, with the school system and some dietary changes and kind of what you're doing there. Let's kind of do an aside and we'll come back to this.
I'm not doing anything with it right now.
Okay.
My pitch, which was embraced, but it's a massive undertaking, to take a private school of 4,000 kids and run a 3-year study where I'm convinced, and I believe that the general population is going to get enough evidence in the next few years of what I'm about to say is true.
Mm-hmm.
And that is that a large percentage of our mental health issues, and that's a broad category, and I'm not an expert, from ADHD to obedience, start thinking of all the problems that we deal with just start with schools, but work that up into adults. A lot of it is nutrition and supplement. I understand now what the gut microbiome does to my brain.
Mm-hmm.
I know this, and I understand how my mouth health, how that all impacts as a person had asthma for 25 years. I understand this. If people aren't eating well, or if they don't have the access to quality food, they're not going to be healthy. I don't care what they do.
Yeah.
So my thought was, hey, how do we start with kids?
Mm-hmm.
Let's focus on our kids first. How do we commit resources to our children to start helping them with nutrition and supplements? I read a study. They literally were looking at magnesium and vitamin D on some kids on behavioral issues.
Yeah.
I don't remember the study, but it was shocking. Like, how cheap is that?
Sure. This is, if you get the green light, it's a no-brainer, absolutely no-brainer. You change nutrition, you change a kid the way he thinks, tolerates stress, behaves around his friends and authority figures, all that stuff changes. I absolutely believe that.
I tend to think big.
Yeah.
And so if you ask me, in 14 years, what do you think our school system and education system will be known for? I will tell you, I think we will be known as the #1 education system in the country. I believe that. And I think it will be the roots of that will come from this getting healthier.
Yeah.
What is nutrition? I mean, my wife and I were talking, I'm not advocating this, people will go crazy, but when I was in school in 1970, we had to do all kinds of crazy stuff. I remember my wife going, we used to have to climb a rope. Like, I loved the rope climb. Yeah, that was my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go down that rabbit trail, but we've got to get our kids healthy.
Yeah.
And it's tough when parents aren't healthy.
Yeah, and this takes that out of the equation. I like the project, and again, we can cut all this out, but how you're taking that out, you're taking over nutrition during the school day. So you're at least got that going for you. And I think it's really measurable. You can follow that stuff, and you'll see a drastic benefit.
And the belief is I bring in experts, so universities, OU, who else could come in, and we also do an education with the parents and incentivize them. I think you could track behavior and education scores, and they would just go through the roof.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of these studies done over the last 20 years that aren't exactly what I'm talking about, but they're close.
Sure. Yeah, I can't tell you the number of people that we've had in the practice that we change their nutrition and we alter some of these things that's doable for them. And a month, 2 months down, they don't realize how crappy they were just feeling. Forget the numbers and the data,
You
just
don't
the
know.
way they're feeling and thinking and tolerating stress. So yeah.
Well, the one I use a lot, ask a friend, hey, how do you sleep? I sleep well.
Yeah.
How do you know?
Yeah.
What do you mean? How do you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, feel okay.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what good sleep was.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have told you, yeah, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
I had no clue what good meant.
That's the American way, man. I'm good.
Yeah, I was good.
Yeah.
I was good like my 1972 Celica I used to have to jumpstart. Yeah, it got
It's
me
good.
where I needed to go.
Yeah.
That was me. And I thought, yeah, I'm good. I got transportation. No,
Yeah.
you're not good.
Yeah.
You just don't know you're not good. You don't know what good feels like.
Yeah. Well, pivoting back. So as we get close here, so as your doc, I know for a fact you're using AI more than any patient I've ever seen.
Really.
A lot in your health journey. I mean, you came the first time you had people come with a stack of papers or things like that as you're getting to know them, and they don't really know what it is, but you understood everything in that thing, like all your data. Here's my stuff. You were sending me things.
I'm glad you let me in. You didn't push me out.
But yeah, so what are some of the ways you're using it? And you've alluded to it as kind of the great equalizer or something. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, my core belief is AI is not going to replace my doctors.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. But it's a tool that I use to make me a more educated patient. And I know people say, well, you can't believe it.
Yeah.
You haven't tried it.
Mm-hmm.
I use it almost every day, not always on health because I don't have health problems every day. But any health issues I have, I'm going to my GPT that I created. It knows my history.
Mm.
I have asthma. So for 25 years, I'll have bouts where I don't have any taste or smell for weeks or months.
Mm-hmm.
It's going for 4 months. No taste, no smell, no other symptoms. I get polyps. I've had the nose surgery. I'm on a lot. I've taken a lot of medication for this. And it knows my history. It knows, for example, that I've had taste and smell since September 4th. It knows that. If I'm talking to it, I'll tell it, hey, here's where I'm at today or this week. I've had a good week. And it says, yeah, you've had smell and breath, or you've been able to smell and taste, Gary, since September 4th, this number of days.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done that in years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of, it's a weird dynamic. But where I really use it, we just did 15 vials Monday for blood work, which is a lot, by the way.
You're welcome.
Because once a year, I track, 100 items, 86 or something like that. As soon as I get that PDF, I'll drop that thing into my GPT. It'll throw it into this Excel spreadsheet it created, compare it to my last year, the year before, the year before. It's built one day I woke up a couple years ago and I was before I met you, I was looking at some blood numbers and a lot of them were in the green, which means normal. A lot of them were in the yellow, which is, this is kind of a problem. Mm-hmm. And I had a couple reds like LP(a) and a few others. Like, this is a serious problem.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, what does normal mean?
Mm-hmm.
I had never thought about that before. So I started researching. Well, how do they arrive at the normal?
Right.
Well, every lab's different,
Mm-hmm.
but Quest or Procore, whatever lab we're using, they all have their own metrics. It's basically they take 200 people or some cohort within my age group. They
Mm-hmm.
throw out the top 2.5% and the bottom 2.5% as outliers, and they take the 95% and they go, that's your normal. That's your range.
Right.
And I thought, if I walked around and saw 95 guys my age,
do you want
congratulations. You're walking around with at least one disease. and you're going to die at 74.6.
Yeah.
That's normal.
Uh-huh.
And I was, no, I don't want that. So I used AI to create my own ranges. So it will color code my spreadsheet. It does all this for me. I just drop it in. It says, okay, here's your comparison. It'll color code and I know exactly what my change was, what moved, and it'll say, hey, 3 things went the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? And it'll start asking me questions. It may go back and say, hey, remember that you were sick back in January? Wonder if that could have triggered some of this.
Mm-hmm.
So I use it for all my blood work. One of the coolest things with my gene, we did the gene study, which you only have to do once.
Right.
I don't know, 24 pages of gibberish. I couldn't understand any of it.
Mm-hmm.
I threw the PDF in there and it says, hey, you've got 18 homozygous genes and 24 heterozygous genes. Like, what does that mean? Well, explain them one at a time to me. Well, Gary, you've got you're an ApoE23. Here's what that means.
Mm-hmm.
It will pull out, it says, you got 5 genes that you were born with that contribute to your asthma. Here's what they are. Here's why you shouldn't be taking Advil. Don't take Advil. How come? Because it triggers this, and you've got a gene that doesn't cycle that well. Nobody ever told me this. I've been going to doctors for 20 years. Nobody ever told me, hey, you've got a gene, because they didn't know, that gets triggered with Advil. So I use it. I mean, I'm trying to remember. It's stomach bug last January, bad one.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife's taking me to the emergency room in Scottsdale at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And we still had no explanation for this. They couldn't explain it. It ended up going away 24 hours later. It wasn't a food bug. I mean, I was throwing up for 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So there was something had happened.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that messed my gut up really bad. It took months for that to kind of get right. AI is able to help me. It's like, okay, here's what you need to be taking. Here's what you don't need to be taking. I've just found that it makes me a much more informed patient. I can take information from you. I can drop it in there and say, I didn't understand all this.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, I use it every day, almost every day. I'll listen to a podcast and the language is technical.
Mm-hmm.
I've got thousands of hours of study. I still don't understand a lot of the language. And I'll throw that podcast. I'll just copy the link. I'll drop it in Notebook LM.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say, give me a summary of this in language I can understand.
Mm-hmm.
And it knows I'm a 12th grader. So it gives me 12th grade language that Gary can understand.
Mm-hmm.
I just took, and it will say, because of your issues and the things you're focused on, Gary, here's the 5 things out of that podcast that you need to be focused on.
Mm-hmm.
In 4 minutes, I can do all that.
Wow.
That's an amazing tool.
Sure. Yeah, it is. And it's just getting better.
It's getting better every day.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I don't listen to a 3-hour Peter Attia podcast, but I only understood 10 minutes of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I can take it, drop it in, and go, what do I need to know based on my personal health, which it knows.
Mm-hmm.
It knows my history, and it says, okay, Gary, remember, you struggle with this, so boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
You remember, Gary, you had a knee replacement, that left knee, so here's an exercise that you need to be doing based on that podcast.
Right. Right.
And it reminds me a month later, hey, you're doing that exercise, right? I'm like, yeah. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
it's a personal
Really
assistant
personalized. Yeah.
that makes me a better patient. Doesn't replace you or anybody else on my team.
Yeah.
But I walk into your office prepared to ask you the right questions.
Yeah. And it makes the time so much more efficient. So much more efficient.
And it gives me confidence to be able to, I work harder to be healthier because I'm more knowledgeable, because AI helps me become more knowledgeable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're going to talk about this.
You've got a whole, you're wrapping up.
We got
the
a whole
conference with
keynote at the end on this topic.
Yeah.
I bring in a expert, a friend of mine named Firas Garfe. And Firas has been in this world you know Firas. he thinks at a level that's just so beyond me
Yeah.
that it's just fun to be around him because he's just a brilliant thinker.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too crazy out there because we don't know. None of us know what's going to happen with this AI stuff. But I'm pretty convinced. I just know the advancement in wearables in the last 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
In 4 years from now, these things are going to get twice as good, five
Sure.
times as good.
Sure.
And the ability to manage my health, I'm not a year away from having a device that can it'll watch me eat if I want it to.
Yeah.
And it will literally count all of my nutrition and carbs from a phone sitting where it normally does on a table maybe.
Mm-hmm.
The things that technology and laboratories are going to be able to do for us in the future, I just don't think most of us have an ability to get our head around.
Oh, no. I mean, it's growing like exponentially so quickly.
And our brains don't work exponentially.
Exactly.
They just don't. The example I like to use, and again, I'm not a medical guy, so I can say these things and not people go, well, that's not credible. Well, okay, take it or leave it. But when you can refold protein,
Yeah.
a cancer is a cell that went bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
It just, something happened, it trips wrong, and that protein gets folded wrong.
Mm-hmm.
There's a billion of them before we realize it. All of a sudden, you got a problem.
Sure.
I don't know how long that cancer had been working in my wife before we discovered it.
Mm-hmm.
We will see a day, I believe. I hope I'm alive. I think it will be when I'll have a wearable that will pick up on that cell that just went awry. It'll send a message to you and my phone that says, hey, you got a cell that just went sideways. Because you've got a digital twin of me on your computer.
Mm-hmm.
It knows me exactly. It's got my blood, my cheek swab, my body scan, and that digital twin on your computer will craft a drug that's sent to a pharmacy that builds that drug, and a drone drops it at my house in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I take a pill for a week, and that cell doesn't expand and replicate.
Mm-hmm.
You think of the implications of that. And people go, oh, Brooks, you're getting way out there. I'm really not.
No, you're not.
These things are happening now in laboratories.
Yeah. If you're not familiar with this whole digital twin
Yeah,
thing,
if you know what a digital twin is, that
Yeah.
sounds crazy.
Mm-hmm.
If you've studied this, your head explodes.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, this is about to get crazy
Yeah, it's
fun.
gonna get it's a cool time to be alive.
It's
but
a great time to be alive.
freaky, and fast. But well, so wrapping up here, what's the one thing you hope every single attendee believes about their own health and wellness by the time they leave on the 10th of March? Kind of alluded to this, but
I need to have a perfect answer by March 9th. But my answer today is I want everyone to believe that whatever they've done, they can change. I don't like to use the words aging backwards.
Mhm.
I don't even like to use the word longevity. I love the word, but it's
Sure.
used a lot
Yeah.
and it can get misused.
Mhm.
I like to tell
Agreed.
people, I don't think about living to 100 necessarily. I expect it, but I don't think about it during the day. What I think about is I want to make decisions to live better tomorrow. Just so happens those decisions will help me live a lot longer better.
Mhm.
And so I want people to walk away going, I've got more power and ability than I think I've got to change my body, my brain. Everyone's unique. Medicine doesn't have the capability of dealing with me personally. They just don't.
Mhm.
My body is unique. My fingerprint, my eye, my gut, yet I have to take the same statin, which I don't take anymore,
Mhm.
that everybody else does. Because medicine doesn't have the ability to build a statin for my personal body that reacts best with me. That day's coming. In the meantime, there are things that I know I can do, but it wasn't until I flipped a switch. Maybe my answer is I want to help everybody walk away going, what's the switch?
Mm-hmm.
What's my personal switch that I need to flip? And maybe it's just realizing I'm unique. I got to treat myself differently as a unique person.
Yeah.
It might be somebody walking away going, my life's a chaos.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to get my environment figured out better
Right.
before. It might be somebody walking out going, I'm the one creating the chaos that's keeping my family unhealthy.
Yeah.
That's me. I'm the person that makes my family live in chaos. They're never going to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
For everybody, it's different. That's what I think. But it gets back to that. I just want to empower people to look in the mirror and go, I can do something. I mean, I'm about as average a person as there is. It took a while, but I did it. I flipped the switch and I just made the decision. I've got to prioritize health. I mean, that may mean I don't get to meet with some people. That may mean some people don't get a piece of me that used to or expected it.
Mm-hmm.
But health has a price. I'm either going to pay for it now or I'm going to pay for it later.
Yeah.
You're going to pay one way or the other.
Right.
So
right.
It's going to cost you
Mm-hmm.
or it's going to cost your family.
It's a lot easier to pay now.
It's a lot more fun to pay now.
A lot more fun to pay now. That's right. That's right. Well, how do people learn more about this? We should have shared about the website and all the locations before. I guess we're on socials. You're on.
Yeah. HealthyCityInitiative.com.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to email me, Gary Brooks at HealthyCityInitiative.com. That's a good email address to use. We're on Facebook, on Instagram. I've got some. I'm an amateur at social media. I haven't done it. In fact, I've hardly ever done it. But I'm learning that's an important tool. And how do you use that as part of this journey going forward?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the expert. I want to be an example.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have experts that you need to listen to.
Sure.
I'll give you my opinions based on what I've heard from the experts and based from my experience. I just want to be an example for someone that says, that dude was about dead. I saw him. I mean, he was near death and he's not now. Don't know what happens tomorrow.
Yeah.
But based on my numbers, I'm probably good for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
My trainer would say I'm probably good for a while.
Well, maybe not after that leg workout this morning that you had.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that.
Well, this has been awesome. Is there anything else you want to share that we need to?
For people that are already in this arena, that are listening, going, I'm in. I've been in for 10 years, 20 years. I've been in.
Yeah.
Connect with us, because part of what we have to do is somehow begin to connect people that are already in this world. Because you've got to get momentum. And the best way to get early momentum is get people who are already engaged. We're not all going to agree on a lot of stuff, I promise you. I can get 100 heart surgeons to say you ought to take statin, 100 say you shouldn't. We're not going to worry about that.
Right.
Let's just start talking about how do we begin to think healthier in our city. And we get enough people to go, hey, this is possible. I mean, that's how it works. That's how Ron Nord did it. It starts small, and you get enough people nodding their head going, that's a crazy idea. Maybe we can pull this off.
Yeah.
So I need those people. I need them engaged. And we need to start identifying, building a system that helps those people somehow begin pulling together. These conferences, as I've learned, are very expensive. Yeah, it costs a lot more per person than we're able to charge. I wanted it at least reachable. It's for $399, which is a lot of money in 2 days, which is a huge commitment. It costs, a lot more than that to put this on. So companies who have an interest to go, hey, how can we get involved? We'd like to get behind it. We're looking for sponsors for those type of folks that might be interested in that. And just a willingness for people to say, all right, I think it's a stupid idea. I think it's a crazy idea, but I'm not going to judge it. I'm going to kind of sit back and I'll watch for a while, see what happens. We're good with that too.
Yeah.
Because eventually I'm going to try to work to get your attention. And you may say no, and that's great. Everybody, it's personalized. Everybody's got a choice. But I want people to wake up at some point, either tomorrow or in 14 years, and go, I want to live longer. Here's why. And I have a path to do that now that I've watched 100,000 people or 500,000 people go through.
Well, it's, again, shaping up to be a cool thing. And I like your vision. And ever since I remember hearing about you the first time, a mutual friend had texted me. He goes, I was landing from a longevity conference. I remember where I was. He's like, you're not going to believe who I just talked to about you. You're going to meet this guy. I can't believe you haven't met him. So it was so cool. And ever since then, it's been you're a great guy to know and a great guy for the city. And good to have a guy with a vision in the state for sure. So yeah.
Well, it's a great time for
you.
me. I'm in the perfect part of my career. I want to be able to use my influence in a positive way.
Yeah.
And have loved our relationship. You introduced me to Matt, which opened up a whole new arena of opportunities. And my mom used to call it getting in the flow. Okay, just getting in the flow.
Yeah.
Flow's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, on that note, thanks everyone for listening, and thanks for being here.
Thanks
man.
for having me.
Yeah. All right. See y'all later. Stay curious.